Channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you miss any of our reviews. I know we late. We're going to review Ready to Love.
I had something to do.
She has something to do. But it's okay. It's better late than never. So we wanted to get our Ready to Love review out as well. We saw this week on Ready to Love, it was the men turn. The men were in charge, right? Tommy got all the men into the gentleman's lounge, and they told the men, look, this is what your assignment is for this week. You're going to introduce these young ladies to your best friend. Because your best friend know everything about you. They know your ins, your outs. They know when you're lying. They know when you really like somebody, when you don't like somebody. So guess what? You have to take these young ladies and introduce them to your best friend. And so we get to, we roll up with Paul, man. Paul is the first one up the bat. He got his buddy Chill
Bill, who doesn't really seem very chill to me, actually.
Bill,
he seemed like he is a riot.
Oh yeah, Chill Bill is like, he seemed like he's a lady man, because I look like he liked the ladies more than he wanted to get in. You know, he wanted to get on a little bit. He wanted Paul to hook him up. But they've been friends since grade school. They've been friends since grade school, and we saw the ladies that we saw come up for Paul was Dakia and Carmen. All right. One thing that was funny from this was that Chill Bill was like, "I got to introduce you to POJ."
Right, because we know Paul introduced himself as PO, but now he added a J. And so this goes back to school where he called himself a gigolo. Well, you know, they joked around on PO to gigolo, and he thought gigolo started with a J.
It's okay. They was in grade school. They was young. He didn't have to worry about it. They was young.
So he get POJ.
POJ.
Paul O. Gigolo.
Man, but we see the Kia comes up, and this is surprising to us because even to me as a viewer, like, where did this come from, right?
Yeah.
Didn't know she was feeling him. They never went out on a date with each other, so this is the first.
Yeah, this is their first date.
It's like their first date, and it's not even a single date. So he introduced her. She comes in. And she talks a little bit about her, talks a little bit about herself and what she's looking for, how she can, how she wants a man that can be different,
Yeah, that she can take it to her different world.
Her different world, her different society, because, she maneuvers, she can, I don't want to call her a chameleon, but she can adapt to her situation, adapt to who she's with, and so she.
It's the word I was trying to think of the other day. Remember I was trying to, code switch.
Yeah.
She's a code switcher.
She a code switcher. She a code switcher. So she talks about that, and then we see Carmen pop up.
And Carmen's like, what is she doing here?
What is she doing here? Carmen she's an alpha female. She's territorial. She wants her space to herself. And but the kid goes anyway. Like didn't my man tell you not to wear those blue contacts?
She had the contacts in.
She had the blue contacts, and
Clifton was eating it up.
Clifton told like them blue contacts, but she was eating it up, But Carmen's kept throwing shade at the kid. They were throwing shade back and forth at each other, by having this being a single date, and she know what Paul wants and all this stuff. It just seemed Carmen's a lot.
She is a lot. And Dakia left before Carmen, and she was kind of like, good. Now, it could be the real star can be on display.
The real star can be on this display. I can be by myself. And Chill Bill kind of, he asked her some questions, but he likes Carmen. He said POJ will be great for Carmen, right? But Paul will be great with Dakia. Because he says Carmen's kind of superficial, and Dakia's kind of got her stuff together.
Solid, yeah.
Solid. So I don't know. Who you think?
He said Carmen is the old PO, the old Paul. Dakia is the new and current Paul.
Yeah.
So
I can see
he
Paul.
didn't really pick one over the other. He was just like, it depends on what you're trying to go for.
But look, he was still looking.
Chill Bill was fresh.
Chill Bill had his eyes open. He was like, hold on for a minute, brother. Yeah, she a woman there. Chill Bill was a fresh player. No chill whatsoever. You know who he remind me of? Remember The Wire? Proposition Joe.
A little bit.
He reminded me of Little Prop Joe. Y'all watched Wire back in the day. He was a Prop Joe.
Prop Joe passed away.
Prop Joe, bless his soul.
Rest in peace, yeah.
Alright, so we go to Tori, right? Tori has his friend Ash, right? Tori's friend, him and Ash been friends for a long time. They've been friends for years. So Ash has, the two women that Ash was bringing was Sabrina and Ace. Alright, I'm going to say that Tori was bringing, right?
Sabrina and Ace.
Sabrina and Ace, right? Ash would be like, You know, Ash is a BS detector. You know, Tori said Ash can sift through all the BS. He knows who's for him and who's not for him, right? So we get Sabrina who shows up. Sabrina comes up and Sabrina brings Tori a gift.
Yes.
You know, which was surprising. Nice little heavy bag. And he was surprised, like, oh, you got me a gift? You got me a gift? Yeah, she brought him. Candle. It was a candle. She brought him a candle.
Good smelling candle.
Good smelling candle. It was good there. Sabrina, you know, as Ash started asking her questions, you know, Sabrina was laid back. She was cool, right? Because Ash made a joke and said his name was for Ashford, right? And that's you know, I wanted to be a man's name. And Sabrina cracked the joke back as well. But she was kind of relaxing. She was cool in there. And so she began to talk about how what she's looking for in a partner. Someone that she can spend the rest of her life with and experience things with, right? And so that's what she wanted. She wanted somebody to spend the rest of her life with and experience. Now, we know her and Tori wasn't on best terms after
after she kissed Demetrius or nibbled on his ear and the kiss and just all of that.
At the truth or dare situation, right? So they haven't really been on the best of terms. That's why I was kind of surprised that he brought Sabrina to
I wasn't surprised.
I was.
Even though they're not on the best of terms, that is his connection.
It really is it a connection when she's connected with somebody else not really connected to you.
But that's the way the show is set up.
Because she's really not feeling him, but she came along anyway.
She is feeling him.
She's not feeling. She's not. She's going through the most. She's not. She's working on numbers. I don't think she's really feeling Tori, but nonetheless. So then Tori was like, well, because Tori's really, he knows Sabrina's really not feeling him because he's really connected to Ace.
Well, no, I think he's keeping his options open because he realized in that Sabrina had options. So I'm not going to say she's not feeling him, but she's doing like the show says. She's got options. You're supposed to be narrowing it down. You don't start from the beginning. We know that never works. No. You don't start from the beginning, even though Clifton and Joy are doing it. But you don't start from the beginning just honed in on one person because you're going to get eliminated or told you're not ready to love. So she's keeping her options open. She's saying, you know, that's what the process is. So I'm not going to say she's not feeling him, but he's not feeling that, even though that's the way it's supposed to go. So he's inserted somebody else into it. So I have options too. So I'm not feeling like she's doing it to me. I'm not doing, you know, then I'm just out here. So Ace is his other connection. And so in the midst of them sitting there talking, you know, it's like, okay, I thought somebody else was supposed to be here. And Tori's like, yeah, let me call her. And
bad move there. I'm gonna stop there. Hold on. Bad move there, bruh. He's on a date. You know you and Sabrina a little shaky, right? Ace ain't here yet. Continue to converse with Sabrina a little bit longer. Go to the bathroom.
Okay,
and make the call.
I give you
You
that.
don't make the call in front of another woman that you call, even though it's a competition, it's a game, everybody knows. Don't make that call in front of her.
I'll give you that.
Go to the bathroom. Go down the hallway. Go somewhere else and check on Ace because I know you're concerned. You want to make sure everything's all right. Car didn't break down. She wasn't involved in an accident. All that fine. But don't do it right there at the table because you might show that you're really into her, Ace, more than Sabrina. And if you did it at the table for Ace, eventually if you go on another date with Sabrina and she's late, she's going to expect you to make a phone call for her as well. And if you don't make that phone call, it's like, oh, you called Ace, but you never called me.
I give you that. I thought you were trying to say like he shouldn't have checked on her at all.
No.
Yeah.
He should have checked on her, but not in the presence of Sabrina.
Yeah.
Because it messes up the dynamic that you got. Everything's going well. It's messing up the dynamic there.
Yeah, Sabrina was basically like, oh, wow. I've never had this happen. Had a guy call another girl while I'm on a date with him. But this is why I said to you, you knew it wasn't just supposed to be you. When you came into it. They said, no. But when she got there, they talked about the fact that it was supposed to be her and Ace. So I feel like a little bit she shouldn't have been that offended. It would have been good if he had walked away from the table. I agree with that. But at the same time, she shouldn't have felt the type of way that she felt about it. And it's not like he was calling her, hey baby, how you doing? You know, he was just like, hey, anyway, Ace didn't freaking answer anyway.
Nah, she didn't answer, and Tori was worried about that. He was upset about that. Again, him and Sabrina.
Not like her not to say anything. Like, why would she not show up?
Right. Yeah. And Sabrina mentioned she's taking a step back because he called Ace. You know, Ace never did show up. And so Tori and them finished. They finished the date. You know, finished the date. You know, Buddy said he did kind of feel that Sabrina was okay. Something that he could work out with. All right. Then we have Demetrius. Demetrius and his buddy Kenny.
His wingman.
Wingman Kenny. Sabrina's out. He was invited on another date, right? So we have Sabrina here, and Kenny gets straight to the point, right? He said he gets straight to the point. He asked where did she stand with his friend? Where do you stand with his friend? Basically, I know you got other options. He told me you got other options. Where do you stand with my boy Demetrius? You know, what's going on? And she was honest. Said that Demetrius is in her top, and he's always been there.
Right. But I obviously do have other choices.
I do have other choices, which is new. I didn't think Demetrius was in her top at the beginning. I always thought Tori was on the top, but I guess because of Truth or Dare, we found out that, you know what, Demetrius was her top and always been in her top, and she does have other choices. Then he hits her with this one. This is the one that the okie doke. Ken says, "Look, Demetrius wants a submissive woman," and she was like, "Huh? Submissive? That's not what." Look, she said, "I ain't signed." That's basically she like, "That's not what I signed up for. I'm not being submissive." But which made me think, you've been married for 7 years. You was married for 7 years, right? I think women sometimes and men have that word submissive all backed up, all messed up. Submissive doesn't mean you have to grovel over somebody else's feet. Doesn't mean that you have to do everything they say.
Doesn't mean you don't have a say.
Doesn't mean that you don't have a say. What it means that you're going to work together and that we're basically kind of committed to one another. Because if I submit to you and you submit to me, we're submitting to one another. So we have to be able to submit to one another in a relationship or in a marriage. We have to be able to understand and respect each other from where we're coming from.
And let the man lead. Not that he's going to be domineering or anything, but you know.
But she said that. She said it's hard for her to follow. She said it's hard for me to follow. But you can't be the... I don't want... And everybody's relationship is different. Some men don't want you to follow. They want you to stand beside. Right? Not necessarily that he's going to take the lead and make every decision. But there's some areas in the relationship that the women are better suited to make the decision than the men. Sometimes we think with our we're quick to think, and women are more analytical. And so therefore sometimes you have to take the back seat, which is still submission, and allow the other spouse or mate to take the forefront in some areas. And that's okay.
She said she ain't trying to do it.
But look,
she's not trying to do it.
She's not trying to feel it, but that's a whole different discussion that we can go into about being submissive. Demetrius said it's a little bit of a red flag. Not a major red flag, but it's a little bit.
He's still go with it.
Yeah, he's still gonna go with it. But she needs to learn to be. She needs to kind of be in charge. Learn how to be a follower. All right. But she said she's always been independent. She's always been a leader.
And in charge.
And in charge.
She's used to being in charge.
I mean, is that a bad thing? I mean, you want an independent woman, right? You don't want to have to.
But don't no man want no woman in charge of them?
No.
Not their wife. Now, when you was a kid, your mama was in charge of you,
right.
And you grow up. Don't man want no.
You don't want
woman to boss them around.
Yeah, boss them around. But again, that's why it's a give and take. Has to be a balance in submission. Has to be a balance that is we know where I need to step back at, right? We know where I need to step up at, and so there lies the balance that they have to have in that relationship if they get together at the end. If she commits to Demetrius, right? Then we move on. Joy and Clifton. Clifton brings Joy and Nakia to meet his friend, also named Kenny. The episodes of Kenny, right? Joy gets there first, and she's chilling. She's enjoying the relationship with Clifton. Said that her and Clifton's relationship has been growing since day one. Joy isn't bothered by Nakia being there at all.
Well, she did look at her side eye when she came though, like, okay.
Yeah, but look, she understands her place with Clifton. She understands what Clifton likes. She understands where Clifton is at. She understands, look, what we have is what we have. If he decides to go somewhere else, I think Joy's like, it's cool because I understand what we have. I don't think he's going anywhere else. She's not intimidated. What I want to use. She's not intimidated by Nakia.
Right.
And I think sometimes when you see other people in relationships and see this happen, the other person is intimidated by the fact that this person's there. So she played it cool. At all. They started to joke about I'll save that for later. His friend Kenny says that Clifton is 100%. What you see is what you get. And can you maneuver in that setting with Clifton? He's gonna be funny. He may be rude a little bit. He may be crass a little bit, but he's also gonna give you what's on his mind, and he's gonna give it to you 100%.
Yeah, Joy likes that. She says, what you're telling me is what I have seen. Like, Clifton's consistent. He's always the same. I know how he rolls.
What you see is what you get. And we know that Kia has always had an issue with perception. That she want to be perceived a certain way. She can turn it off and she turn it on. Right? We heard that when you was talking about Paul. And so there lies the hesitation from the friend. Then there's a joke that was made about the seashell.
Yeah.
The seashell looked like a vagina.
That's what the Kia said.
That's what the Kia said, right? Joy eventually has to get up and leave, has to go do something. Clifton continued to talk to...
But I'm going to pause right there, because when Joy left, her and Clifton do what they do. And he grabbed her up.
Yeah.
He grabbed her up, hugged her. And, the friend was like, yeah, I seen how you said bye to her. And he grabbed her up, hugged her. And, they embraced each other real tight. It was like, yeah.
This is
what they do.
This is what he does. He wasn't ashamed. He was 100%. He was really into it, right? Really into embracing Joy. And so she leaves, and so they continue the small talk at the table. Nothing significant. Then they would get ready to leave. He's like, yo, can I have a taste of your vagina? Basically.
The drink.
The drink.
In the shell.
In the shell. He picked it up and said...
it was quite crude.
Yeah, it was quite crude. But this is where I picked up at, right?
Yes.
This is where I want to go.
Yeah.
With his crude comments and his crude jokes, she didn't find it offensive. When he touched her in this last episode, when he was touching on her leg and was all rubbing up on her leg and maneuver in that realm, she didn't find it offensive.
Nope.
I know Eric touched her when he was inappropriately, right?
Well, he touched on her chest.
He touched on her chest. And
our question was, what's the difference? So you were offended because he touched you on the chest and said whatever he said, but you're not offended by the crude joke?
Or Clifton touching you up your leg. And I'm not saying unwanted touch is an unwanted touch. I understand that. I'm not saying she should accept it. But Eric did say in a statement that she was mad more so at him because of his connection that he had with other women. So I'm not saying either way, but I don't think if you was crude, if you don't like the touching being crude because you're a lady, you shouldn't like the crude jokes because you are a lady.
To me, that's just as bad.
Let us know what you think.
It's just as bad.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Your opinion on that. Never condone anyone being touched when they don't want to be. But
at the same time, because that's the whole Me Too thing is not just about touching. It's about nasty jokes, insinuations. Assuming. It's about all of that. So I feel like I found it odd that she was like for Clifton's thing. I would have been like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, grow up. That was her thing. Eric needed to grow up. He wasn't ready to love. I feel like with that, like, Clifton, you need to grow up too.
You need to grow up too.
Just saying.
You just did. Yeah. So let us know your thoughts on that. Don't want to dig too much in that because don't want to go one-sided, but I really did think about that.
We absolutely did. I was like, oh, she didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah. That he said he wouldn't mind sniffing, smelling, and drinking your vagina.
The drink.
The drink.
In the shell.
But it was the drink in the shell, but
matter of fact, she's the one that introduced it as such.
Yeah, she introduced it
That's
as such.
the other thing.
So
maybe that's why she didn't have a problem, because she started it.
But again, we don't know what started it with Eric that led her to. It's just a whole...
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
He didn't like it. Then we see Donovan, right? Donovan's on a date. Donovan has his friend, Phil. We all know Phil.
He was like, y'all know my friend Phil. He was on a previous season. I've been knowing him for 7 years. Him and his girl, Sydney, got their relationship or whatever.
Now, this is at the time they were still together when the filming, because Sydney and Phil are no longer together right now. So, if you didn't know, now you know. They're not together, all right? He meets up with Tina and Sabrina, right? Mm-hmm. He meets up with Tina and Sabrina. And Sabrina was into this. Sabrina was feeling it. She understood what the assignment was. And
she's already... I'm assuming that her other dates have been before this. Yeah. So she already knows what it is.
Yeah, and Phil just went out. How many people or how many contestants are you guys feeling? Mm-hmm. How many participants, connections do you have? And Sabrina was like, I got a couple. Mm-hmm. Tina really didn't answer that question. She didn't really. She felt awkward. She felt like she wasn't there. She wasn't.
Yeah, she was like, I don't want to. She didn't really want to do the
couple things.
That kind of date with with somebody else. She wasn't really feeling that. It was like.
Yeah, Phil mentioned that Donovan is stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
That he can be stubborn sometimes, and that that's something they have to look out for. That he gets one track minded, and this is where he goes, and this is what's he into. Donovan mentioned, after the ladies leave and all that. Tina leaves first because, like I said, she felt awkward and leaves out.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't want to be there. Sabrina leaves, and they just have a man talk. And Donovan tells Phil, "I got 3 connections.
Mm-hmm.
I got 3 women that I'm interested in." But he is concerned about the 2-year-old that Tina has.
Mm-hmm.
He has kids. His are much a little older, but he's concerned about going back to that stage of his life.
Right.
I mean, he's not opposed to having kids if that's what the wife wants or the woman wants, but he's not willing to go back to himself.
Yeah, they remarked that Tina was kind of disengaged in the date. Phil was like, Sabrina's like into it. He said, I know, I'm privy to how this process works. So I know how the connections things go, and I ain't trying to tell you what to do, but he was like, this is what I got from Sabrina. Like, Sabrina was into it, participatory. Tina, not so much. So, but I'm not saying that you should pick either one that way. I'm just saying what I observed.
Right. We get Paul and Dakia finally go out on a single date.
Mm-hmm.
They finally go out there, and Paul, they both tell each other that they're pescatarian.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, oh, okay, I don't like do nothing for him. So they had that in common,
mm-hmm.
but they didn't know before, right? And she asked Paul, what is something that no one knows about you? And he tells her that I'm an artist.
Yes, he's creative.
That he's creative, that he's an artist, that he likes, he likes being artistic.
Yes. Artist is artistic.
Artistic, right? I want to make sure I said it correctly.
Artistic,
artistic, artistic. I want to make sure artistic. Artistic, right? So I want to make sure I had it got right. So that's why the pause was there, ladies and gentlemen. I want to make sure I said it correctly. Artistic, right? So he talks about his drawing and what he likes to do with his drawing and how it makes him feel. But he also talks about he wants someone who's 5'3", right? That he is. He talks about a sense of humor too, because he told a bad joke. Yeah,
he said I have lame dad jokes. Like I tell real corny jokes, and she was like, "Well, tell me one." And he tells like the corniest joke, and she was like,
"Yeah,
you're right. That was corny. Give me a little laugh, but it was corny."
Give a little laugh, but they had a nice little date, and nothing. Just that time they were able to spend with each other. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you can see in this episode, Dakia and Sabrina are on a lot of people's list. Mm-hmm. They are on a lot of people's list. A lot of people are feeling Sabrina and Dakia. So we pull up to this one, and we'll probably stay here for a minute. We're going to park the car there for a minute. Ace and Tori finally meet up. Ace finally shows up with Tori. They finally get to a little place, and he was like, basically like, what's going on?
Like, you stood me up.
Like, you stood me up. Like, what happened? What happened here? And she's like, I see how you look at Sabrina, and I didn't want to be in the way. You don't look at me like that. I basically, I found somebody else. I found somebody I liked.
Uh-huh.
She found somebody she liked, and he's like, okay, cool. And we come to find out that it's Laverne.
Duh.
I
mean, we knew it was Laverne. Basically,
we knew.
What she said was, again, you have a better connection with Sabrina. I don't want to get in the way of that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm connected with this person. And so that was me allowing you the space to be with Sabrina. And Tori was like, I was concerned about you. You didn't show up,
You ain't been communicating with me. It's a cop-out.
Yeah,
It's a cop-out. She just should have told him, you know what, I'm not feeling you anymore. I'm feeling Laverne. Right? She should have told him that on a date. You know what, Tori, I don't want to go on a date with you because I'm feeling Laverne. I'm going to self-eliminate myself. She left him high and dry. Even when he came connected, he's like, I can't make you stay. Mm-hmm. I really do appreciate you. I really do like you. But if you want to go ahead and go. He was heartbroken because he knew the connection between him and Sabrina is not tight.
Yeah.
He knows that Sabrina has other people. So he knows, like, my last person that I'm connected with, kind of real solid connection, is gone. She feels somebody else.
And when it's them ladies' turn, we know how when you start counting and start looking,
you start doing
I'll be
math.
next on the chopping block.
I'll be next on the chopping block. So again, he's gonna be the next one on the chopping block. But she says she's going to Laverne, which we find out at the men's deliberation, she never told.
Okay, let's say that she told Tori that she self-eliminated.
Yeah.
So fast forward. Tori mentions it at the gentleman's lounge, and Tommy's like, what?
Yeah, like, she doing what?
You telling me something? I didn't know that. Who said what went where?
Now, if you watch
nobody told
if you
me
watch
nothing.
any of our interviews, go back and watch the interview with Rashid.
Mm-hmm.
Rashid said no one leaves a show
without talking to Tommy.
Without talking to Tommy. No one leaves the show without mentioning it to Tommy and talking to Tommy first. So she called an audible and made a decision to leave the show. And production didn't tell Tommy, unless Tommy's lying, I'm only going to go by with face value, she never spoke with him and never talked to him. So I'm going to reckon right there, when he said that, they probably cut production at that point. And he probably hopped on the phone and made some phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, told by people that we interviewed that no one leaves the show without they talk to Tommy. Because Tommy had to talk Rashid down from not leaving the show.
Which was a waste because, anyway,
yeah,
she still picked Calfani.
He still picked Calfani, but he still ended up with the one that he wanted anyway, which was Simone. So it all worked out in the end. It worked out in the end. So Tommy was like, yo, if y'all having issues like this, y'all need to let me know. We need to have this kind of, if someone's not showing up for a date, something you need to tell me so I can know. And so they went through that whole thing with Ace Evanly. Ace just is off the show. She doesn't want to be with Tori. She wants to be Laverne, who's gone. And if you know anything about, and I know we're doing this late, and Commission Review broke the news that Ace goes with, or is messing with Tyrone. I give her the credit. The credit is her. She broke it, and Tyrone kind of in a panel discussion with Sabrina on Sabrina's channel from last season, he kind of acknowledges the fact that him and Ace are together, and he's still trying to figure out how Kamisha knew. However Kamisha gets the information, she got it. And so Tyrone has confirmed that he is with Ace. So now you know that Ace is...
Where the heck is Laverne?
Where is Laverne? Ace is not with Laverne.
I think she left thinking she was gonna be with Laverne, but remember when Laverne left, he was like, "It's just gonna be me and my dog. This was it for me.
Yeah, this is it with me.
I'm getting too old for this."
Yeah, so she
might have went to Laverne, and he was like, "You know what? Nah,
I'd rather be by myself.
I like you, but I can't do this."
Right. So she found somebody else. So currently, she's dating Tyrone from last season. Don't do that.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
except they both work for the government or something. I don't.
That whole Ready to Love circle is, but relationships outside of shows work.
Tyrone just wasn't. He wasn't like spectacular.
For her, he may be poom pow poom.
Maybe.
But we'll see. All right, down the road.
So anyway, they're supposed to eliminate somebody. Since Ace self-eliminated, there's no elimination.
There's no elimination.
Nobody got told you're not ready to love.
But Tommy did tell the men no one's getting eliminated, which could have happened to Laverne a week earlier, but he just couldn't.
I really feel like it would have.
He just couldn't handle himself, right? And so now Tommy tells everyone, tell the girls, tell the young ladies or the women to get packed because you're going on a trip.
Yep.
You're going on a getaway.
It's that time of the show.
It's that time of the show. Y'all know getaways are always explosive and things always happen at these getaways. So we're interested to see what happens this week on Ready to Love at the getaway. Let us know your thoughts on this past episode of Ready to Love. Who does Tori have? Is Sabrina really feeling Tori? Is the kid just building up numbers so she can stay on until she can stay on until the end? Let us know your thoughts. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews.
Thanks
for watching.
Bye.
Bye.